Hey everybody, how's it going? I just got back from a weekend of hiking out in Jasper and a little bit of Banff, up in British Columbia and Alberta, Canada. And I know my friends and family high out there, and I know you've been asking about what I bring with me and what I pack. And I've learned some lessons over the couple of years. I used to pack way too much, having my military background and what we did before, and I've lightened my load a lot. But anyway, just to show anybody who's curious what I've been packing and what I take with me on my hikes, I wanted to show you. Now, a lot of it depends on how long the hikes are, what the weather conditions are going to be like, what I'm expecting to see along my hikes. Is there going to be water? Is it going to be dry? Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be rainy? But I just wanted to show you kind of my day pack and what I take on my hikes. Anything I've learned that anything 5 miles or less, I just take a bottle of water and a granola bar. Some of my 5 mile or less hikes have turned into 8 and 9 mile hikes because of poor map planning and feeling more ambitious when I get out there and going further than I thought. And I've learned I can survive a 9 mile hike with a granola bar and a bottle of water, no problem. I usually just throw, a jacket over and can tie it around my waist if I get hot, and have a hat in case it's really sunny or something like that. So you're generally more capable than you think you are, and you don't need as much crap as you think you do. I have definitely learned that lesson. But that being said, when I get out into British Columbia or up into Canada and I'm hiking, and I kind of play it a little on the safe side. I'm not as young and capable as I used to be. I go out by myself a lot, which I know is not really the book answer, not recommended. So I always plan worst case contingency. I fall down a ditch and break my leg and bump my head, and I have to spend the night with no help. So when I do go out by myself, especially, I take a little more than on the super well traveled hikes where I know that I'm not going to be by myself overnight. So I do plan on, hey, what happens if maybe it's the military guy in me, haven't gone through SEER school and all that stuff. I think about what I might need, and I don't want to turn into a horror story. There's some really good tools out there. Luckily, Brad and Allie got together and for Christmas gave me a Garmin InReach. So I do have a satellite communicator. Most of the time in Jasper and Banff, you are outside of cell phone coverage. You do not have cell phone coverage. That being said, if you've got a Garmin InReach and a satellite communicator, you'll probably have a chopper over your head within a couple hours if you hit the SOS button on that. So yeah, let's get down to it. Let me show you what I've got. So yeah, I just got back from 2 days of pretty strenuous hiking. It was 8, 9 miles each day, two hikes on the first day and one hike on the second day. Pretty hard hike on the second day up the Saskatchewan River Glacier. And this is what I take. It looks like a ton when you spread it all out like this. It looks like so much stuff. This is kind of my worst case scenario. I will pare it down a lot and just wear whatever clothes I need for the weather conditions. But this is what I carry in my day pack, and this is my little day pack. So I have three different packs at home, but this is my day pack. It's a Gregory Miwok 18. This whole pack by itself has got to weigh less than 2 pounds, even with the carabiners on it and everything else. It is super lightweight. You barely notice it when you have it on your back. I do like hip straps a lot. It transfers a lot of the load to your hips, and kind of a must-have. I like the Gregory's because of the way that they adjust, and I've added some carabiners and stuff just for stuff to have for safety, to be able to hang stuff to it. So I like having the hip pockets, so let's just get right into it. I carry a small air horn for the bears. Signaling, sure, maybe, but more if I see a bear off at a distance. Hopefully I can just scare it away, avoid a confrontation, and it knows I'm coming. I've changed my philosophy, and I talk a lot more on the trail, and I like to make a lot more noise. I used to be very quiet because I wanted to see wildlife, but when you're in grizzly country, seeing wildlife may not be great. I always carry some Sandycoms, just in case you do injure yourself. I have already learned that lesson about injuring myself, and we'll get more into that later. Okay, so what do I have over here? Hat, something light, something to keep the rain, and something for the bug net to hang off of. This hat is good at all the above. It's super lightweight. You can crush it. You can fold it. I take it with me every day on my FedEx trips, and it probably weighs an ounce. My jacket, Outdoor Research. You can't go wrong with a few of the big name brands. Outdoor Research is one of the ones I love. It'll keep you warm. Not super warm. It's not insulated. It is just a shell, but it'll keep you dry, and it weighs also probably just an ounce or two. It is super, super, super lightweight. So that's my external shell. Underneath that, I'll generally have a fleece if I think it's going to be cold out. If not, something high tech and thin for a t-shirt. So about 3 layers is what I usually do. Hat and gloves, yeah, in Canada year round. Most of the hiking I do goes up to pretty good elevation, so have at least a thin little hat. Again, this thing weighs probably less than an ounce. The gloves kind of make double duty. It's keep my hands warm. And work gloves if you're going to be scrambling over rocks and stuff like that, something that's got some grip. So don't just think about just fleece gloves, something that can get a little wet, handle a little water, because again, it's the mountains. It can always rain up in the mountains. Hiking poles, I don't even count towards my weight because they're going to be in my hands the whole time. Big thing for me is something that breaks down that I can travel with. So something breaks down really small, I like these ones that come in sections. And I kind of like cork handles. The cork absorbs your sweat, and they got to have straps on them and stuff like that. And something lightweight because you are going to be carrying them all day long. Garbage bag, self-explanatory. Hauling your garbage out with you. Doesn't cost anything weight-wise. It can help keep stuff dry. Some guys take bigger garbage bags. This is kind of my luxury item, if you will. This is a camp towel. If I do decide to take a dip in one of the lakes or wash myself off in a stream, or if I just get wet or washing myself up, you can go much, much smaller than this. I just like this big one. It weighs not as much as a big hotel towel. It doesn't take up as much room. It's nice and thin. It weighs way more than I probably need to take with me, but that's, like I said, I'm going to call that my luxury item. Camelback, water bladder. So I always view this as my emergency supply. That's I fell down a ditch and broke my leg, and I need something to supply it. So I try not to touch it while I'm out hiking. Again, it depends how long. I would say on a normal average day, I put a liter of water in it. If I'm going someplace super hot and I'm really worried about it, I'll fill it up to 3 liters. This, by the way, is where all your weight in your pack comes from, water. You could very easily probably go out with no water and live off the streams and creeks and just sanitize your water. I'm a little bit glamping in that sense. I tend to bring my water with me so I don't have to worry about treating it, and that's there for an emergency. Again, if I break my leg and I can't get to a water supply, that's what I'm going to live off of for the night. This is what I drink during the day, or I take another water bottle with me. Nice thing about Nalgene's, yeah, they take up a lot of room in the pack, but you can put other stuff in there, and they're super lightweight. They don't take up any room. Probably the more smart solution is this, which again, I kind of treat as another tertiary backup, if you will. These things are awesome. You dip them in a stream, you fill them up with water, you suck on the hose, it filters out that so you don't get Giardia, you don't get dysentery, you don't have to worry about any other diseases like that. They make all kinds of smart straw options and whatnot, and you can get ones that will screw onto the top of your Nalgene. You can get them that will go into here. You can pump water in here. This is super lightweight, probably less than an ounce, I would say, and doesn't cost me anything. And it's another option for water. I could get away with not carrying this and just have this, or vice versa, but whatever, it's out there. Let's see what else. Bags to carry, poles, bags that I put all my stuff in. So this is my oh shit bag, literally. TP, self-explanatory. Just steal a roll from the hotel and have a little half or quarter of a roll. So you need that. Purification tablets for the water. They don't cost much in weight. They seal up in the bag and they're easy. 550 cord or some sort of cord. In emergency, make splints, shelter, or hang up clothes to dry, things like that. Just handy to have. Does not cost much in weight either. I'm old-fashioned. I carry a flint fire starter. Again, this is I fell down and I need to start a fire. You can get away with just a lighter. It's hard to travel for the lighter. Okay, totally not optional. Bug net. Can't tell you how many times this has made my life better. You run into bugs. Even I guess it used to be in the Canadian Rockies, you didn't have to worry about it too much, but now you do. So to go with your hat, so much better to have it. It costs next to nothing weight-wise. This thing weighs nothing. It doesn't take up much room in your bag. They're not expensive. Get one, and that way you can throw it over your head. We definitely, everybody was happy they had them in Iceland. Spare dry socks. Self-explanatory. Handkerchief, I guess also kind of a luxury item, but for washing your face off, dipping, cooling yourself off with whatever. Food-wise, for a small hike, yeah, I can usually get away with just a granola bar and some snacks. Gummy bears are another luxury item for me. Bug spray, sanitizer, COVID, sure, whatever, but more so just because you get your hands into stuff maybe you don't want your hands in, and you get a wound and you want to clean it out a little bit. It works really well for that. I am a firm believer in good old-fashioned maps, and when you get to be over 50, good old-fashioned maps means you need reading glasses to be able to read your maps and to read the display in your Garmin and to read your watch. And oh, by the way, pull splinters out of your hand and all that kind of stuff. So yes, unfortunately, you hit an age where readers become necessary. Compass. My watch works as a compass. My phone works as a compass. I never trust anything that takes a battery. I get lost, the weather gets bad, something, I need some help. learn how to use a compass, learn it, live it, love it. Got the military old Lensatic compasses. They're awesome, but they're big and heavy. And modern compasses, you can do much, much smaller and much lighter if you want to. I guess I'm just old fashioned from what I've learned from Sears School. So I do like having a compass with a sight window. This is a Sunto 3 Global, which is good around the world. So I like that to go with the map. Yeah, little personal meds and stuff like that. You know, a couple ibuprofen go a long way. Or if you're like me, you need maybe a couple Pepcid or something. Just whatever. These small little Nalgene bottles don't weigh anything. They don't cost anything. You can put just a couple in the little pouch. Yes, bear spray, 100% required up in Canada. I've come across 3 bears so far. None of them have been threatening. They've all been black bears. None of them could even really care less that I was there. I just avoided them. You know, kind of like I always look at it as like we used to treat threats in the A10. Avoid, suppress, kill. So number 1, avoid them if you can. Make noise as you talk. Watch out for bear scat. Know where you're going. Know what the threat level is. Suppress them if you have to with something like this. And killing, can't carry a gun in Canada, so that's not even really an option. And honestly, I know my gun nut buddies are going to disagree with me. Bear spray is way more effective than a gun. The chances of you getting your gun out, hitting a bear, and stopping it before it mauls you are pretty damn low. You're probably just going to wound it and piss it off. It's probably still going to maul you, and then it may go off later and die, in which case everybody loses. The first round, I would think, would go in the air anyway, and it's just really, really not as effective. Studies have proven that of all the bear encounters out there, people who had bear spray had the best luck with them. There's all kinds of videos to that. Maybe I'll provide a link to them on how it works. There's a great guy from the University of Montana who is pretty much the bear guru, and he talks about the way to use bear spray. And I think really one of the best things about it is once you use bear spray on a bear, that bear has now learned to hate humans, and it will never go near them again. So it's really effective. You don't have to be perfect with it. You don't have to hit the bear in the heart or the head like you do with a gun. You just spray it in its face and it wants nothing to do with you. So when you carry bear spray, you're just a big human skunk. And skunks have survived a long time in bear country without guns by using chemical warfare. And that's what you're doing with this. So keep it on you. Keep it where it's someplace easy to reach. You can protect yourself. You can protect others. And the bear doesn't have to die. It's a win-win situation. Okay, talked a little bit about the Garmin InReach. It is also quite literally a lifesaver. There's whole videos on that, but just note that for those of you guys who don't know that this is, yes, it's a GPS, sort of. It keeps track of your position, but the big thing is you turn it on and you set it up your account through Garmin. It's about $12 a month, and if you get into trouble, you press the SOS button, and it sends your loved ones, and it sends Garmin's Rescue Center a message with your exact GPS coordinates. They can coordinate with all the local rescue centers, and you will have a chopper over your head before you know it. So if you're outside of cell phone coverage, out on the water, out in backcountry, this is the way to go. You can use it. This one in particular is super lightweight, just a couple of ounces, doesn't cost you much. And it you can free format text on it. You can have pre-programmed text. It will link up to your watch. It'll link up to your phone. And you can send your loved ones messages and just say, hey, here I am. I'm out in the woods having a good time. Whatever you'd like. Of course, there's a cost associated with everything. For the $12 plan a month, I get a certain number of free text each month. So haven't had to use it. Don't want to have to use it, but it's there in case I need it. And finally, last but not least, is my med kit. I'm a big fan of MyMedic. It's got enough in there to treat me. I cut my hand pretty horribly once on a trip, and I had to get real creative about bandaging it up, and it really ended up being a pain. So this is probably the second heaviest thing in my pack, and I still wouldn't leave home without it. I keep an extra little roll of duct tape. Duct tape can be a bandage. Duct tape can fix broken gear. It can waterproof stuff. It can act for a splint. You can do a million things with it. Also, little known fact, you want to have something to cut with. Luckily, the MyMedic pieces for pulling out slivers, little place to put a little drugs. It's got some more 550 cord. It's got all kinds of bandages and ointments and some basic drugs and all that stuff in there. And scissors, super handy. So these are FAA compliant, so I can jump seat with those, but I am waiting for the day that some unknowing security person decides to take it away from me. So that's probably going to happen at some point in my career. These are like $50, I think, from MyMedic, and it's one of their smallest ones. They make a slightly smaller one for hiking, but it's all sealed up and it's a little less practical. Little known fact that yes, this is a Leatherman, but it is a personal care Leatherman, so it is not technically, it does not have a blade on it. It is not a tool, so it's got little nippers and little pliers for pulling out tweezers and stuff. It has got cuticle scissors. Really hard to do this one-handed. So you can use that to cut things. And it's got a nail file / screwdriver, which in a million years I have no idea why I would ever use that in the woods, but it's there. Poke a hole in something, I guess. So anyway, this is another little option as far as things that cut. You need to cut wire, something you're tangled up in, or if you need to use the scissors to open things up, cut out a stick that got jabbed in your hand, like what happened to me, you've got it. So yeah, there you have it. That's what lives in my bag. Now I'm going to try to set up a quick little video and show you how I pack it and how you can't believe that all this crap can fit in one bag and still weigh way less than 10 pounds. I haven't weighed my bag, but if I had to guess, without water, all this weighs less than 5 pounds. So probably right around 5, maybe 6 or 7. I don't know, but it's light. It's so light. It's the water that's the heavy weight. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate how I fit all that crap into my pack here, and let's see how it goes. So starting with my pack. Water bladder. Again, that is where all your weight comes from. Your biggest decision weight-wise is going to be how much water do you want to carry that day. I love the Gregory's because they have a little hook. Your water pack fits right in there, zips up nicely. So I put the important things I don't want to lose in my little inside zip pocket, my keys, wallet if you want to get the weight out of your pants, things like that. You know, your Garmin InReach. If you're truly worried about falling down and breaking your leg because you're going to be someplace really that crazy, then you would probably want to clip this to your body somewhere also, so that way you don't lose it if you're away from your pack and you have to run for some reason. But my pack is almost always within arm's reach, so I'm not so worried about that. This usually stays off and is in my pack, ready to go if I need it, but not necessarily hanging from my person. So what else? Poles. You don't have to use a bag. Some people strap them to the outside. These are going to be my hands. So this is really just more about transporting to and from the trail and having them when I'm ready, just keeping everything consolidated in one spot. So again, not so picky about poles. Luxury item, towel, bottom of my bag, gloves and hat. You know, general rule of thumb, stuff you're least likely to use, bottom of your bag. Depending on weather conditions and all that stuff. Let's see what else. First aid kit. Just make sure you know where it is. Make sure you can get to it one-handed in case you break something. Mosquito net. Generally not a big deal in the Rockies, but it can be certain seasons, especially if you're staying down low in the valleys. Little shit bag. Just stuff that I don't really need on a day-to-day basis, but it's there in case I do need it. Water filter bag. Snacks. There's other places those could live as well. Let's see, all this goes in the front. All right, hat. Crushable, soft, someplace in there. Jacket. Love the money I spent on my outdoor research. Not cheap, but super good at keeping me dry. Super lightweight, packs down to almost nothing, just an external shell. And some people use these external pockets for things like that. If you really think you're going to need your jacket, taking it on and off during the day, going in and out of rain showers, that's what the shovel pocket's for on the outside. Can't have too many socks. Always have some extra pairs of socks. Map. Big fan of the paper maps still. Still use them, even though I have GPS. I've got Gaia, I've got All Trails, I've got Footpath. I'm always anticipating my phone dying. So map study, honestly, also old-fashioned A10 pilot in me. I think map study before the trip is more important than actually using the map. Once you get on the trail, probably know where you're going at that point. Okay, garbage bag. For when you don't eat your snacks, you pack everything out that you took in with you. Stuff that you need to quickly access. Almost all packs these days have quick access sunglasses and or, yes, for us old folks, readers. Okay. In my hip pockets, these are going to be accessible while I'm hiking the trail, so sound, be able to scare away the bears. Went hiking with Craig yesterday, and he kept his in his hand almost the whole time, which is probably, honestly, not a bad idea. So something to think about there. Meds, you can probably put these away. Bug spray, they don't necessarily need to be in your hip pocket, but it's handy. It's handy having them. You get those hip pockets for these little items. Might as well use them for something, right? So bear spray, pens is the answer. If I'm on a trail, yesterday we were the only ones on the trail for about 6 hours. Didn't see another human being, and we were out there. We were in the backcountry. High potential down in a valley, next to water, next to food sources. High potential sea bears yesterday. I'm actually kind of surprised we never saw one. So this lived on my hip. This lived on my belt, on my shorts while I was walking, ready to go. Other times, what I'll do is put it in the drink holder pocket and just clip it in so it doesn't get caught on something and fall out. Yes, I've had stuff get caught on tree branches and fall out and not know it. So make sure you secure everything you don't want. I can still, in a pinch, reach back here and pull it out and use it if I need to. So something to consider with that. Make sure, even if it's not something that's a super high threat, you're on a well-traveled trail, you don't think you're going to see any bears that day, you're safe and sorry. Oops, you know what? And pack away my Nalgene bottle. Water bottle would live in there. Handkerchief also goes in the quick access up here. Most of the time goes in my pocket anyway. So yeah, believe it or not, all that stuff, yeah, probably about 10 pounds, I guess, maybe with the bear spray. Bear spray's a little heavy too. So, big fan of the Gregory's, big fan of the way you can adjust them. The hip belt, even on a day pack, when you're going 10 miles, gets the weight off your shoulders. Adjust everything. Gregory's are awesome about these guys sliding up and down depending on how you're built. If you're a lady, you get things in the way. The way they adjust up here so the form fits to your back, it doesn't bounce around, you're not getting caught on stuff. Barely know it's there after a little while. So a couple other things to talk about is that I've got the added challenge of having to fly back and forth, which means I'm kind of limited on what I can take with me and what I can't. Obviously, bear spray, any kind of weapons, especially in Canada, they're pretty strict about that kind of stuff. And since I have to jump seat, yes, believe it or not, I actually have to go through security and get my bags x-rayed like everybody else as well. So I have to worry about what I can carry with me, what I can pack, and then adding it on to all of my normal clothes that I have to take on a trip. It can be a challenge. That's why I tend to leave my bag in Memphis and or in the hub for backpacking if I'm going to be going on a lot of trips throughout the summer. Now, I know I barely touched on it, but weather and clothing and what you have to wear for the rapidly changing weather conditions, whether it be out in Yosemite or here, this is up at Bow Lake in Banff. This is actually in, I believe, September. You can pretty much snow any time of year up in the mountains up there, and you could make another whole video talking about nothing but clothing and gear and what you need up there for hiking and rapidly changing conditions. But I just wanted to touch on it and give you guys a sample of kind of what I carry generally on most of my trips. Footwear is another whole issue that there are whole other videos about. And I'm not going to bore you guys with the details of what I wear and what I like and whatnot. There are books written about that. And just suffice it to say that I've been going through hiking shoes pretty rapidly. I plan ahead for what conditions I'm going to be in. I try to do some study and know where I'm going to go and what kind of trails I'm going to see and what kind of water and what the weather conditions are going to be like, wet and slippery or rocky and ankle support. I've gone to almost all like low top hiking shoes. I don't wear hiking boots. They're just too heavy, too bulky, and they really don't do that much for you anyway. You're better off to strengthen up your ankles. There's books written about it. I've only had to use or wanted to use micro spikes about once. It would have been nice to have either micro spikes with me and or
crampons for going through some snow and some glacier. The watch is another whole issue. I started off with a Sunto, and I've since upgraded to my Garmin, and I absolutely love it. Again, lots of videos written about that. And finally, everybody wants to know about wildlife and what I see. A lot of it on the roads, a lot of it on the trails, a lot of it I can't get my camera out fast enough. Everything from sage grouse, porcupines, hiking up in the redwoods. I was able to actually come up upon a herd of elk. I think they were pretty tame. They were out there by the highway, and they were watching me. The females especially, and the one bull out there didn't like me being so close, but I think they're still pretty used to people. The most interesting encounter wasn't really an encounter I had, but out one day on a closed road, snow biking on my fat tire, and a fresh track of 5 wolves. One wolf doesn't scare me, but 5 got my attention.
Anyway, everybody, I hope that helps answer some questions out there. Hello to everyone at home. And I'm really excited that you guys like watching my videos and you're enjoying sharing my hiking experiences with me. It's something I'm really falling in love with. And there you go. Have a good one. Happy hiking.